a lot of time has passed since season T1 started. A lot of time has passed during wars. We've seen so many pairings out on the field. We've seen so many players fighting, share reports, showing off those big merit numbers. But I think it's time for us to rank the best open field marches for each troop type based on their performance in our lovely friend tier maker. So let's get started. What is up, guys? Meower here, back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. Joining me today, our lovely friend and channel guest, Shadow Blades. Shadow, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Shadow, and I work with Meowers on a bunch of the videos. You might notice all the war compilations or the montages and the hero guides. So yeah.
Yep, that's all him. He has the magic touch. But anyway, today we're gonna be discussing the best open field marches in Call of Dragons right now in the season T1. Of course, the meta is rapidly developing. Every day we get something new. So, Shadow, why don't we review the best marches right now after we've tracked so many reports? We've had so many fights, we've had the big war TA EXG versus EIS and BXS. Amazing war, super fun. We've seen other wars as well, the best pairings run around. So, why don't we just get started?
Yeah.
So starting off, we're
Okay.
gonna go with mages. So Shadow, what do you think the
Yeah,
best
sure.
mage pairings are right now?
So I think in terms of like big open field fights, Lilia Velen is still up there. Just because of the AoE, it provides so much value, and when you're hitting a big group, it probably outscales other mage marches in the open field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lilia Velen is always a staple ever since Velen's release and Lilia's synergy with each other, and especially with the Infernal flame here, giving the extra magic keen. It helps a lot with the damage factors because, in case people don't know, magic unit attack bonuses directly affect the base stats of the troop, which in turn gets calculated deeper inside the skill damage of the skills. So what do we think here? The
Yeah.
second best pairing, probably Bertrand Tohar.
So probably Bertrand Tohar. Yeah.
Yeah. The
In terms of Bertrand Tohar, well, didn't we receive a new buff to
yeah,
Tohar, right?
Tohar has become a nuclear cow, bro. He's nuking
Yeah.
everyone. Commander is so disgusting right now. Our boy
It is. It
Tohar.
is.
This little innocent face is hiding a demon inside of him. But anyway, in case you guys don't know what changed for Tohar, he's now actually a much better open field commander than a garrison commander right now. Because one, his restrictions of standing still and dealing damage is gone. Two, he's got a huge stat bonuses on all of his skills, giving him quite a lot of value. And three, you can immediately carry over your damage after your partner or your pairing starts to kill cycling. So over time, you're going to be dealing quite a lot of DPS and quite a lot of skill damage that no one would really expect this little Pumpa looking boy to deal. So honestly, I think the right now Tohar is definitely up there in the S tier commanders and definitely worth awakening ASAP. And of course, if you want to select a commander to awaken from each pairing, you always have to think about which commander gives you the most value in terms of their skills and in terms of the value they provide. Overall, some commanders are better at 5-5-1-1 than you work on their pairing, and so on and so forth. So do we are we missing
Yeah.
anything
I'd like to
else?
add one more thing about Tohar, because in open field fights, normally for mages, you're stuck looking at your like rage bar, trying to stay targeting someone as long as possible, and then cast your rage skill, and then you kite around. But with Tohar, it's like it's ease of mind. You can just target normal attack, and eventually you'll cast your passive skill, the replacement for the rage skill,
Mm-hmm.
just just normal attacking. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's much easier, more familiar if you're like used to archers. For me, at least.
He's definitely
Yeah.
less micro intensive as well.
Yeah.
The cow just goes boom, boom. Even
He
his
went
stat bonuses.
Yeah, he went from like extremely micro intensive, trying not to move and all that, to completely like
Brain dead.
smash your smash the cow into the enemy's faces. So yeah, nuclear cow.
Brain dead gameplay. Anyway, are we missing anything else in the archers in the mage section?
I think maybe we can talk about triple mage options then.
Nah, we can put it as like a subpar thing, maybe. I think what would you pair for the third mage march though? If someone was a mage
So
march and they want to pair three.
yeah, if it was a triple mage march, we need to split up the mages. So it'll be like Liliathea with Celestials, Walder Velen for the skills tree. But recently, there's been a big like a rise in popularity for the control tree. I'm sure Miaros will explain in another video, but it's something
Yeah,
to do about ST1 talents.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah, so it's like Liliathea, Velen Waldir or Waldir Velen, and then
mhm.
Bertrand Toll. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't think it's worth like ranking up there because these marchers are like the absolute creme de la creme when it comes to selecting your pairings. The rest are just optional choices for you guys.
Oh, for sure,
But
for sure.
now, time for our favorite troop type. Because in case you guys don't know, we're both archer mains. Archers are the best troop type.
Yeah.
I'll fight anyone for this. I don't care what anyone else say.
Okay.
Archer
Let's get
supremacy.
started with the archers. Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so archers, of course, with the introduction of the season T1 talent, the archer range, archers have had a completely different playstyle and different ballpark, and their effectiveness on the field just completely skyrocketed. You no longer have to be a cheesy counterattack build in order to be completely useful in a fight. You just need to take that skill, and now you have the same exact range as mages, but you have, of course, the DPS of archers.
Yeah, exactly. And so, just for context, the counterattack build, you just focused on increasing your counterattack damage and
Mhm.
also your tankiness. But now,
Yeah.
I guess you can play more of a glass cannon,
Yeah.
just shooting from range and just focusing more on normal attacks.
Mhm.
So that changes up. This next pairing
So the next pairing,
is
Kenara Nico. So if you don't
yes,
know
Kanara
why,
Nico.
Kenara and Nico right now is extremely strong. It's a really strong March. It does insane single target damage. It has an amazing debuff from Kenara's Rage skill, the defense break from Nico's Rage skill, and of course the ever so OP um, Rattle Spear exists as well.
And yeah, especially for ST1, Rattlespear was in the first Forge of Light. So if
Mhm.
you haven't maxed it out already, everyone has a chance to do so.
You're missing out. You are missing out. Just for the passive itself, the passive is absolutely insane. But
But
Husk,
I will
mhm,
say, if you don't have a really well invested Nico yet, and you do have an Awakened Hosk, you could still run Hosk,
yeah,
but you're not outputting the most damage, outputting the most merits
yeah.
you can get.
Then you would have to pair Husk as your secondary, no longer as your primary,
Yeah, as your secondary.
just for the extra
Exactly.
attack, because you're now relying more on Kanara to carry the march than Husk, cheesing with counterattack.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Are we done with archers then?
Yeah, Archer Supremacy, baby. I can't wait for the G3 commanders. Hopefully, the first cycle will be archers as well, just like we had at the start of G2. Of course, everything is going
Hopefully.
to change. Archer Supremacy.
Okay. So next up,
Infantry.
the,
All
oh,
right.
oh my
So
god.
this has become a meme right now, or this will become a meme. If you want to rally, Goresh Skogel. If you want a garrison, Goresh Skogel. If you want to run infantry in the open field, Goresh Skogel. If you want to farm Darklings, Goresh Skogel. This March has taken the meta by storm. Like the amount of Goresh Skogels running around everywhere,
Uh,
doing everything. I mean, if you want to propose to your wife, use Goresh Skogel as well. Like this March, especially with rebound, it's just been terrorizing the open field. I
so
honestly,
yeah, Miaris, you want to explain the rebound?
Yeah. So
Briefly.
if you guys don't know Rebound and why it synergizes so well with Goresh Skogul, it doesn't have a range. It does more damage the more people hit you, and Goresh already has a skill that is somewhat similar to that. So all in all, this gives so much synergy. And honestly, right now, Goresh Skogul for me feels so much better than Prime Hoskanara. Because right now I just throw the march before it even touches anyone. I get 25k merits. Like, what is this, bro? Infantry with
Yeah,
over
it's insane.
100% counterattack that inherently usually have their regular limitation of 50%. So now you're dealing full counterattack damage when you're being focused by 30 and 40 people. You're dealing just so much damage. It's actually insane. You can't swarm this march, you can't nuke it from afar. How do you handle this march without getting punished for it just existing? I don't know. So remember, kids, Goresh Skogolit.
Yeah. Well, there's also the honorable mention of Maddie Garwood,
Yeah.
but what do you think about it now this season? I
I
don't
think it's
really see
pretty
it
good.
much.
I don't see it much, but it still has its value of blocking places, just being a flat out tank, blocking people. Of course, Big Mommy Madeline will always have a special place in my heart, but sadly, Thick Thighs Kogel has taken that space right now.
Yeah, perfect,
And of
perfect.
course, Garwood is
Okay,
Garwood.
yeah. Do we move on to cavalry then?
All right, for Cavalry. So Cavalry has received a big buff lately. Shadow, I'll let you explain it. I am Cavalry hater number one. I should not be discussing Cavalry.
Okay, so the new cavalry basically is they increase the range from where you start charging. So you can start from like mage's range, you can start charging. If you get the seasonal talent as well, it increases the range even further. So imagine the mage's unyielding rush rate. Sorry, the mage's range. That's where you start the unyielding rush. If you get the blue talent in battlefield domination for the cabs, it increases the range as well. So add another archer range on top of that, and that's where it starts charging. And
That's
when
crazy.
the new change to the unyielding rush is when you're targeting an enemy, you won't be intercepted by anyone, right? So while you're in unyielding rush, you will never be intercepted. I've tested this out in the open field where I believe a Madeline Garwood was charging at me. They got rampage, which it's supposed to like normally like stop the cats from moving, but I just went straight through the Madeline Garwood. Same with if an enemy cavalry is charging at you and you're charging at a target behind them,
Mm-hmm.
you will run straight through the cavalry charging at you.
That's
So basically,
crazy.
nothing can stop it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So now we got
and
zoom
it
in marches. Right.
yeah, and especially with the ST1 talent. So if you didn't take rebound, if you took the other option,
Mm-hmm.
it actually reduces the cooldown of the blue one. Oh, sorry, the purple
Purple,
one.
courageous rush.
Courageous rush. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're charging, you take 20% less damage, and your rush cooldown, a skill cooldown, is reduced by 15%.
So
Now,
now
this
we
might not seem like a lot, but
it adds up.
how it works is, yeah, it adds up. Once you start charging from a longer range, the cooldown timer starts then. It does
Mm.
not start when you hit the enemy. So almost like immediately after you hit the enemy, you can then charge to another form.
So now it has a pretty much almost a 10-second cooldown instead of 12 seconds with this 15% after things get rounded out. So all in all,
Yeah.
we got just zoom in cavalry running all over, especially if you play from blimp mode, like sometimes I do. You watch little icons of cavalry just going all over the battlefield, along with everyone just rushing all over the place. You're doing can't even keep up anymore, can't even click in time. But so who do we think is the best cavalry pairing right now for open field?
I think the best cavalry pairing right now would be like the new commanders, Ferondel, Theodore.
Would you pair Ferrando primary or Theodore primary?
I guess it depends on you really, but I really value the march speed. So Ferondel primary is probably the best bet.
For control PvP or control cavalry? Because he's got pretty amazing skill trees, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, like control tree for cavalry is really amazing. And yeah,
Because they already
Ferrando,
deal damage,
Theodore.
right? They already deal a lot of damage. Plus the buffs to Oath of Stormpeak. That's right. Oath of Stormpeak right now, in case you guys don't know, has been incredibly buffed. I honestly think in a single target, this artifact surpasses Spring Blades right now. Just from how crazy
I
it
think
is.
so too.
The buffs are
Yeah,
insane. It deals.
you can pop off like an extra rage skill cycle. So if you have this max, right,
Mhm,
you're dealing this exact same like duplicate damage, right?
mhm.
It's like an extra march, and you're basically casting when you land. You get your artifact out.
You can almost have a
You do
permanent
four rage
uptime.
cycles.
You can almost have a permanent uptime on Cowardice, shutting down or normal attacks using Ferrondo as
Yes,
well.
yes.
That's crazy, bro.
But yeah, but generally it just lasts for like one rage skill cycle. I haven't
Mhm.
really seen like two rage skill cycles, but still, like
That's
you're
crazy.
deal if you're
A-
T5,
And you're
you're
giving
dealing
free
like what?
sevs. You're giving your enemies free sev wounded because you're not really taking any damage while doing so. That's insane.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
You're
maybe
not
we
affected
might
by the counter
see.
attack as well, right?
Yeah, I will still give Bakshi Emrys as well up there because well, Spring Blades is just too broken to miss out on. It does so much damage in big clusters that artifact deletes people if out of position. So right now, I think both cavalry marches are viable. I can't believe I just said cavalry are viable right now. Ugh, what is happening to me, man? But yeah, I think both cavalry marches are right now very viable in the open field. Damn, I might be sick. I'm gonna go take my temperature after this video. But
So yeah,
flyers, what are
flying units.
flyers? Hmm. We've seen so many
So
flying
okay,
pairings.
let's talk about the flying troop types first. Which
Mhm.
troop type is the best flying
Celestials,
troop
bro.
type?
Celestials for the
Celestials.
range.
Yeah. And archers, man, they really need to give better
Yeah.
flying archer commanders.
Yeah, the Woven
But yeah.
Riders are pretty pee pee poo poo right now.
So yeah, speaking of celestials, there's the option. The newest option we have now is Bertrand Thea.
Bertrithia. That is true.
So yeah, Miaras, you want to talk about Bert Thea?
So Bertrithia right now with the Mirage Orb is pretty nasty. It's a pretty good march. It's relatively tanky. It deals reliable damage. It can run around the map dealing a lot of damage. So I think it's a really good march right now. Berthia, I believe, will arguably be the best flying commanders right now. There is, of course, the usual, what do you call it, Ferrando Thea
Atheist?
or
Oh,
Atheist
Ferrando Thea.
with the
Yeah.
flying calves because I hate those eagles when I see them. They tilt me so much. They deal so much damage and they're so slippery because just go zoom 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 zoom. They're running around the map dealing damage and doing all that stuff. But right now, I will give it to Bertrand Thea. Right now, I don't have another Bertrand icon. So let me just put this here for the purpose of this video. But yeah, I honestly believe like right now, Bert Thea is still the superior flying commander. Of course, if you want to
And
run a flying
really,
march.
like the majority of people use the human faction, right? League of
Hmm.
Order. And the real benefit out of it is because you can create a small or like a big group of flying units, flying mages, and they can act as like a big open field ball,
Hmm.
but can go over terrain.
Yeah,
So
just
that's
go
one of
around
its
harassing.
advantages.
Just go around harassing people and builders and whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the downside of Ferrando Thea,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just want to explain.
Downside of Frondo Thea is that you're using cavalry.
Yeah, you rush in and
You're pretty
you get
squishy. Yes,
bursted.
you're pretty squishy. Your DPS is good and reliable, but you're extremely squishy, and you can be punished pretty hard if you zoom out of position. But as it is right now, I think these are like the most optimal pairings. Of course, we got engineering stuff like Ordo. We got useless stuff like Alistar, Bakar, Eliana, Guanwin, Craig, Pan. Waldir is pretty good. Atheist is pretty decent. Alwyn might creep his way back after we share the video of how you can actually disable season T1 talents. Big shout out to Amonix or Amonix. I think that's how I pronounce his name. He told me how to pronounce it, but of course you know me. I forget my own name. Uh, Discovery. Uh, so I think that's pretty much everything right now. Of course, we
Yeah.
got
And
different.
also, one last thing I'd like to add: if you are a low spender,
Mhm.
and you can only get Bertrand to 5111, Atheist fully awakened with Theist still outperforms the Bertrand
Of
5111.
course,
So just keep that in mind.
of course, of course. So I think that's
Yeah,
pretty much everything. Let me know what you guys think in the
I think
comments
so
down
too.
below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Of course, you can flex commanders like in this anywhere, whether if it's with archers or with mages or even with infantry if you want. She's one of those extremely flexible commanders. The same can go with Hosk, but please don't pair Hosk with mages. I will flame you if I see you on the open field doing that. But other than that,
Uh,
let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Shadow, do you have anything you want to add before we conclude this video?
if you're running Lilia and Hawk on the enemy team, thank you.
Yes.
But yeah,
Thank you for the free merit
um,
donations.
thank you for the free merits. But
Yeah, thank you for being
yeah, I think
absolutely
that's about
useless.
it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, yours.
Yeah, and of course, thank you so much for watching. If you like content like this, please be sure to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Big shout out to Shadow for helping with this video. Always a pleasure to have him with me in those videos. And yeah, have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video. Meow meow.